Hello everyone, my name is Kist and welcome to Tracklaying New Horizons. That's right everybody, welcome to Tracklaying New Horizons, and we are building from the iron mine to the iron smelter. I'm here in Pine Valley, joined by little Betsy, and I'm really eager to get started. But before we do, I see that not so many of you are actually subscribed. So, if you're here from Reddit, from anywhere else on the internet, consider liking, subscribing, and ringing the notification bell so you don't miss any extra content from me in the future. It's free, and you can always take it back later. So without further ado, let us go ahead and head straight to the iron mine, where we can get started. Wow, this is actually really pretty. Reminds me a lot of the Appalachian Mountains, with the blue hue in the distance. It's very pretty. But, where are we? We're here at the iron mine, just right above the actual chute. And I think this is the perfect place to start building down from the iron mine. Now, why are we doing this? What's the point of today? Well, in last video, I asked if there was a specific challenge or specific problem that needed help fixing, or you just wanted some insight to see how it would be done. It was a request to see what people wanted and needed help with. And one of the first comments I got was this one, asking to build a 2.5% line only to the iron mine from the iron smelter, or iron mine to the iron smelter, however you want to view it. The same thing stands. I've already done this once in a testing world just to make sure it was possible, but it is completely possible to go from the iron mine to the iron smelter only using 2.5%. Now, what are we going to be doing to actually accomplish that? Well, technically we have two paths. We have the dev intended route over here, and we just follow the curve of the mountain that's already existing, or we can go down the left side of the canyon from where our perspective is. We can go down this side. Both have merits. This one's easier because there's already a cutout in the terrain you can follow. This one's more fun because you get to mess around a little bit more and see what you can do with the terrain. Maybe use bridges only, or you can use groundwork and just actually make it look interesting. But it's a little tedious. Where it actually line up is if you did 2.5% down, it would almost be exactly anywhere here between the sawmill and this turnaround. You can do 3% from this plateau only. If you did 2.5, it would just be extended ever slightly. This one's a little bit more tedious to build, and I am not going to be doing it today. Instead, we're going to use the dev intended route all the way down to the smelter. But before we should do any of the grading, we're going to do the easiest thing for today. I have my lovely bridge 1, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to highlight the platforms at each industry. So boom, I have a rail in place. Let's clean it up. Then we just need to connect a line under the chute. Okie doke, and now this is done. Very simple. Just adding the tracks for our unload and loading. And to make sure I can come back here easily, I'm going to put a telegraph, because I want to go down to the smelter and just literally do the same thing. So let's hop on down over there and just build some basic tracks. Okay, and here we are. But there seems to be a lot of trees here, so it'll make my life easier. And cut down the logs or the trees. Okay, I think that's a good amount of land cleared. And then, again, just simple does what simple does. And we just need to connect each platform. Alright, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We have those two lines in place, but I want to add a connection here. To do so, very simple. If you want to have the most cost-effective thing, you can literally just place two crossovers, but for paranoia, I'm going to do 3. Then we want to get a left-facing switch, connect it via the turnout, because now you can see our switch is facing to the right, it's diagonal, and I can quite literally connect these two pieces. That's it. Boom. Very simple. From here, I'm gonna think do an 8 meter. It's either 7 or 8 meters. Either. We're gonna do 5. Place a bumper, then grab some groundwork. Boom. This is one of the things I forgot to mention. Well, I did mention it via a little subtitle. But when it comes to placing groundwork now, groundwork, which I don't have selected, can attach to the splines itself. You could literally grab the embankment, connect it to its spline, and drag it out. So there's no worry about trying to guess it or place it under things. Same things with the crossovers. Now you can place groundwork under crossovers or junctions so much easier than you can before. This also means you can use crossovers to realign embankments, maybe for a town or a street. If you want to get one in the middle, I like to thank Red Trailer for showing me this. You can place a 45, boop, boop, and place crossovers from here. And now you'll get the halfway point. Look at that. Very easy. And now all 3 of these are going to be in line, level, each and every time. So there's so much possibility you can do now with this. So once we have both platforms in place, like so, or all 3, we're going to go back to the iron mine. Now we have our infrastructure in place here. So now we're going to be shooting for this. We're going to try to connect it to both of these from the iron mine. And why? Well, let me first place a telegraph, and we're going to go into the game plan. I decided to head back to the iron mine because I think it would be easier to explain what we're going to be doing from here. One of the best pieces of advice I can give people when it comes to building in this game is to build down from your destination. Another case where this would work would be the coal mine or the logging camp. Whenever you have an industry or a place of interest that's higher than when you currently are, you should build from top to down. And why? Whenever it comes for any infrastructure project, roads, trains, whatever have you, things we gotta worry about is the horizontal distance things are traveling. And I'm just gonna do a simple case here in Roads Online. I have this bridge. I can make it go as far as I want out. It's not going to touch the ground because it's way too deep, but I can make this thing go all the way out if I want to. Now watch what happens if I just hit the grade key by 1. So now this entire spline is curving. If I make it level, now it's level. 0.5 down, 1 down, 1.5, 2, 3, or 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. It takes distance to travel down. And we always have to account for this. We can't just magically get down from the iron mine to the iron smelter willy-nilly. We have to take account for the horizontal distance that we're traveling. We have a lot of space. We have from the iron mine all the way down here, maybe a kilometer at best. That's going to be our main challenge today, is making sure we have enough horizontal distance between the iron mine and the iron smelter to actually make our grade. And there's going to be a few things you have to be okay with to do so. This build is going to require a lot of bridges, mainly because we do not have a cutout or tunneling feature in the game as of yet. Not to say it will be coming, but I really hope it does at some point in the future. The reason it hasn't been is because designing stuff like that, cutouts, or I'm going to say on-the-spot cutouts, real-time cutouts and whatnot, is very hard to do in the UE, Unreal Engine's terrain generation. Or so I've been told. So, we're going to have to make do with what we have, and we're going to use our lovely cutout already existing to really make our build as easy as possible and to make it as good as possible. Alright, we're about to begin building down to the smelter. And if you have any extra challenge or any request you want to give me and see done, whether it's Pine Valley, Lake Valley, or Aurora Falls, go ahead and comment down below, and it has a possibility to be featured in the next video. I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say, and yeah, just go ahead and comment down below. Okay, with that out of the way, let us start the build. From the iron mine chute, you don't really need to go super far. Of course, don't go all the way to the wall, but I would say anywhere from like 10 to 12. I'm gonna do 12. I think 12 meters out from the leftmost pillar would be good. And then we're gonna curve about maybe 60. Okay, so 60 is a little too wide. I'm gonna zoom it back to 55. I like that. Let's go for 39 meters. Look right here. 39 meters of distance. I'm going to hit place. So we have a 12 meter straight, 55 meter curve for 39 meters long. Then I'm just going to place crossovers because easy. Okay, I got it. I got the thing. So after our 55 meter curve, I wanted to put a crossover to straighten it out so we don't absolutely destroy our couplers. From here, I just grabbed any one, 2, or 3, and I did an 80 meter curve for 15 meters. From there, once you do that, just place a switch, and it should line down the cutout very nicely. Now, because groundwork takes up so much space, I'm just going to use stone wall, even though I would preferably not want to. It's just going to stick out over the edge, which I know will look ugly. Let's go for 100 meters exactly. Boom. So now you can see we have a nice straight track on the cutout, our switch, nice big curves, and we can go ahead and delete this and replace it. Since the point of this video is not to show what an iron mine setup would look like, we're just going to ignore this. I'll go ahead and put a bumper here so nobody absolutely dies and hits the ground. They'll die and hit the bumper instead.
What did he say?
There we go. So now both are capped. We can go all the way down here and let us start our work. The next part is we need to go past these trees, but I want to clear them, and voila. So we are almost in line with the next part of the cutout. You can see it will hit the mountain. So on this part of the bridge, because we can use groundwork or stone wall here, I want to turn it and see if I can get it in line. One of the tricks I like to do, because this is becoming really annoying, is you can use the actual link or the spline behind you to drag out distance. So if I look at the spline, you can look at the number in the bottom right, and you can see it's increasing as I go farther or closer away. Close enough. Now if I straighten this, boom. If not, right down the center. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm gonna use stone wall because you could use groundwork. I'll show you what both look like. Okay, so if you made a bridge, stone wall to support, then you can use groundwork on this next segment. Doesn't look too bad. I actually rather like it. Or you can use stone wall. Either or, both work. For my own sanity, I actually like the look of the groundwork here. So I'm just gonna place it right on back. Another thing to do before we go and finish the rest of the grade is to fix this bridge. I think having that weird little kink in it doesn't look the best. So clear out all the trees underneath, and we're gonna replace both parts as one bridge. I mean, it's a little snaky, but it's fine. It's fine. It looks fine. So now from here, we just need to build a straight bridge. This time I'm gonna use steel, but we need to be very careful. So this one needs to be exact. If you can, try to shoot for when the grass starts to come in more significantly on this rock. We can stay flat for that entire time, but now we need to start our 2.5% grade now. I can do this by that. Be very careful about building grades. I'm going to use a I'll use a steel bridge. So I did a 2.5% down for 10 meters. But if I extend it out for 30, you can already see that the trestle is higher. It takes longer for it to get to that grade. So if you can, I would say anywhere between 10 and 15 meters for a transition, whether it's 3%, 5%. If you can give a transition piece before even starting on the grade, please do it. But now that we're already on the grade, we can go ahead and start. I think I want to start going for a curve now. In my personal building style, I like to make big curves first to see where it's going to end up at, so I can plan ahead. So this is 100, but I think I can do 105. No, 102. So we'll go 102. So I'm just going to build this out to about, we'll do 38. And again, this may not be the most pretty looking thing I've ever built, but it's going to be a functional line, and that's what really matters. So bear with me, as you might see a lot of stone wall and a lot of bridges, but it's going to be a solid 2.5% line the entire way. So from here, you can just pick whatever bridge. I'll do 2 for this case for variety, and we're going to extend it out till about the same place. We'll do 50. Now I mentioned this in Track Link 101 a long time ago, but These bridges like to have the railing placed on the left hand side, so if you don't like it on the inside, it is very easy to fix. They like to be placed on the left hand side, so as long as you're placing it in the direction you're facing, boom, now you have a railing on the different side. Personally, I like this one better because it's on the outside, so if a train ever comes through here, it looks like it's supporting on the outside where it could derail most likely. So from here, we need to do just rinse and repeat. We're just gonna keep trucking along, and I might do a little bit of a time lapse. I'll let Future Kiss decide that. And we're gonna go through and just follow this cutout. We're gonna take some liberty, but we're gonna use it as the basis for this line. So we just keep doing 2.5% the entire time. Literally that. I'll do 77.7, 777. Wait a minute. I think it would be best as we continue. This next part, I literally kid you not, is just follow this right half of the stone wall. You can use bridge, switch it out with some stone walls literally, and it should look rather good. But I think we should enter a time lapse instead of me just skipping to the end. And let's just power through and get it done. Where we are going to be stopping is we're going to be stopping right here when it begins to turn to the right, or I guess on the map to the left. So we're going to keep going all the way down until we reach here. At this point, we're essentially halfway done already. Already 2.5% there. So let's power it out, everybody. So slight pause in the time lapse. I didn't mean to lie, but I essentially lied. You don't need to follow this rock face at all. I didn't realize that it actually flattened out here, and our grade hit it too early. So now I'm following the inside cliff face of the dev intended path, and we should follow this ridge line here all the way until we reach down. So I apologize. Don't follow the higher one, follow the lower one, and you should be okay. Now let's continue. Alright, I think we are done. At least halfway done with the entire project. And probably the toughest part, truth be told. It is all a constant 2.5% starting from this stone wall. I will admit, it is definitely not the prettiest line. Maybe not even the most realistic, of course. But I think it works. It does what we need it to do. Maybe we can clean up this spot here. I think it would look better to have just one giant steel bridge. Yeah, like here. So that's fine in the middle, but maybe let's connect those two and these two. We'll do that near the end as our final touch-ups. I was really happy to use groundwork here. That was like, oh, so it made me so happy. This spot's a little funky too. Maybe I'll change that to be a regular stone bridge. Or wood bridge, my bad. Now what we need to do is we need to build down to the smelter. How we're going to be doing that is, would you believe it, we're also going to use the dev intended path right here along this cliff face. It's still possible to do 2.5%, and I think without further ado, let us go ahead and jump into another time lapse. Before I do that, I'm going to clear some trees. Alright, I think we are ready to begin. I'm just ever so far away from where we ended with the iron mine, and my actual plan is to make a U-turn, either across the river, before the river, make a U-turn and go down. And I was trying to start on roughly the same level terrain. I'm going to start at -2.5% down. Does it already hit terrain? How funny, I'm already hitting terrain, so the slope is shallower than 2.5%. But to fix that, you just literally extend it out. So we'll do 2.5 down from here. Now we should have no issue. Yeah, look at that. A few crossovers later, now we can actually make it. So this will be really good for us. And heck, we can even start the turnaround right here. Let's go ahead and jump into a time lapse now. I'll pause it until I need to say something. But yeah, let's just go ahead and grind it out and build to the smelter. And now I'm encountering a little plateau right over here. It flattens out just right here, and then it dips back down. We need to make our turnaround here on this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a straight piece from it. That was just eyeballing it, no specific placement. I want to make it go right there. So now we're down from the grade and on flat ground. That's good. It gives our engineers some time to gain some speed or slow down on nice level ground and get some really good traction. Now we can just use groundwork and get us down. I'm going to try to line us up for that track as best as possible. But now we need to increase the grade because -1 will not get us there. We actually need to put in a switch somewhere here too. Honestly, here would be the better bet. Fun fact, you can place switches on grades now with really good ease. It's always been possible, but this is the easiest it's always been. So to place a switch on a grade, you literally need to make a grade. I'll do it from here. So now I have my grade. If you literally just grab any switch, you have to place it from the switch stand like I am doing so here. Boom. Now you have graded switches. Can make for some really fun stuff. But now we have our switch in place. One will go to the cranes, and this one will go perfectly to our unloading dock. So we're gonna go straight down. That actually looks rather fine. I'm happy with that. This one, on the other hand, wow, that actually looks really satisfying. This one, on the other hand, is gonna be a little bit more gnarly. I'm gonna essentially call it a gnarly corner. The only reason is because like it has to do this S curve. And then honestly, I'm just gonna say screw it and connect the two. And we're gonna find out what happens. I think we're done with these very nice curves, but everything is connected except our turnaround. Let's take a little overview of the actual smelter line so far. There should be no curve that's smaller than 50 meters, which is perfect for any of the trains in the game. 2.5% only, and it follows the train as best it could without taking super big sacrifices. Honestly, you could put a 30 meter and have it just hug the terrain, but again, this line is going to be practical. It may not look the best, but it'll be one of the best functioning lines. Like here, ew, having this big bridge and then connecting it to a steel almost. I think for my sanity, I'm going to replace this and make it a DNRGW bridge. Yeah, dude, this is awesome. It's a new challenge for me. This is the first time I've ever done this at 2.5%. I did try it once at 2% a long time ago. It absolutely sucked, in my opinion, but it worked. So I guess I can't complain. At the same time, I'm gonna complain. Alright, I think we are essentially done. I'm going to do some small tweaks and connections, and then we will be done with the video. Alrighty, I think we are done. Completely 100%. A solid 2.5% line all the way from the iron smelter to the iron mine. On this map, it's just the stock default one. I loaded a new save, so there's no extra industries. But for clarity's sake, we have one from the iron mine to the iron smelter, all 2.5% down, the smallest curve being 50 meters in radius, and it is just really, really, really good. I had a lot of fun doing this one, and I'm just really proud of how it turned out. Again, maybe not the most realistic looking one, but I couldn't care. It is functional, it works, it should be a fun line to run, and I'm just really happy for the final product. Alrighty, I think we will be done there. If you would like to see this map for yourself, I'm going to link it in my Google folder down below. Should be at the top of the description. And if you have any other questions or would like to see a new problem, a new place solved, go ahead and put it in the comments down below. I'm always excited to hear from you guys and look at your feedback. So if you have a specific problem or you want a challenge that needs to be done, put it in the comments below and I think I'll be able to do it. Alrighty everybody, 1.5 hours later, we are officially done with the project. My name is Kist, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.